Hello. Hi, good evening, all of you. Similar. So let's just start. Make a moment. Okay. So, hi everyone. So, anything you would like to discuss, before we move ahead, right? Like yesterday, what we were doing was we were seeing how to work with the NumPy arrays, right? So, how we use that NumPy data, and how then finally we can do some indexing and slicing on the same, right? So, which helps us in making some numerical arrays and matrices. So, anything you would like to ask before we move ahead?
Amit, I went through the warm-up project.
Uh-huh.
So I have some few questions.
Sure, please.
Okay. So I mean, will you go through those, or I can ask questions from that?
I mean, I'll definitely help you out with that.
Okay. Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Can you able to see my screen, Amit?
Yes.
I mean, so I have a question with this. So result in acceptance value, it means like whether result and the acceptance values are matching. Result in acceptable values. Value, is it matching and it's not matching? Is that so?
So this is basically we are saying that whether we're just comparing that whether the variable the value that we have, is it available in that? So no, it is not available, and then we are saying not in as in not available.
Okay, so the data and the variable it should be matching. That is what it means, right?
Correct, right. So the value should be available in that list.
Okay, and how about this Python display import clear output?
This is actually one of the remember like yesterday we were talking about
Yes,
this. NumPy library, right?
Import, yeah.
So there is another function library, that is ipython.display. So from there, what they're doing is they are just uh, we are just importing this function, that is clear output. So there's a
Okay.
function in that package, clear
Yeah.
output. What it does is,
Okay.
if you just run this, it will just clear that output that you would have, like in that, like when you execute any command. So what happens
Okay.
over there is an output that comes up.
Okay.
So if you want to clear that output, you just give this command, that will be cleared off.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, okay. I tried this this query. I tried to execute this query. So, but I didn't get the output like in this way.
Once again.
One
So
second.
you have made a function over here,
Yeah.
right? You have made a function
Yeah.
choice equal to wrong and within range equal to false. So we make a loop that while choice dot is digit, um, see, basically what is happening is that we have this is digit is something that checks whether that particular number is a digit or not,
Okay.
right? Is it a number or not? So that is what this function is doing. So what we have done is, like, if I just try to explain the code over here, can you scroll a little up? So what we're doing is we have declared a variable and then the two variables, right? One is choice and one is within range.
Okay.
Now what we're trying to do over here is, if basically we have created a function when a person will execute this function. So what we want is the person will get, he is going to get this a box that please enter a number between 0 to 10,
0 to 10.
and then what will happen is the user will enter that number, and suppose he enters 1. Okay,
Mm.
so what we are first checking is whatever that person has entered, is it a number or not?
Okay.
Okay, and then when if that's a number, what it is going to do is it is going to check, is that number lying in the range of 0 to 10?
Okay.
If that number lies within a 0 to 10, right, so that means what will happen is that we are going to return that number. Otherwise it is not going to return that number over there, whatever the number that you would have entered in that case. Getting it, what exactly we are doing with the
No,
code?
no, I got the code, but I'm saying that I don't get the output. So let me execute this. So if I execute, it should ask me to enter the number, right? So
Correct.
I'm getting that. That's what I mean.
No, actually what has happened is, see, I told you something, that there's a star icon that you see over here in this line.
One second,
In this line is
can I give
some,
a control?
wait, so let me just take the controls. Yeah. So if you see, whenever you execute some codes,
Mm.
so what should happen is, if you just check that, if you
Star. Yeah.
star is coming, so this
Right.
code is
Right.
not executed. So
Oh,
let me just stop this. Let's interrupt the kernel. Okay. So there is something that is uh, going wrong somewhere. Okay, let me just come over here. Now this is executed.
okay.
Now it's asking if I enter one, so
Oh,
it gives the outcome. So there was some previous code that might would have got
okay.
stuck.
Okay.
It's not executed.
And one more thing. Okay. I have a doubt with simple. The entire part was not. I mean, I couldn't get it. So here the output shows like. Mm, I think I did something with this page. I deleted or I did something because there was a separate variable where it says game list is the output was game list on, high, and 0. So I don't know from where I got that. I think I
Uh,
did this.
what is the question over here?
In 10, it was like the output, or I don't know whether it is markdown or the output. It says the game list is equal to, in array it is high, 0, and one more word. So here we declared the variable as 0, 1, 2, but the output was different. So can check in your file, Amit. I think I did something in this sheet. So
Let me do one thing. Let me just check this question. I think there's
okay.
some question that got missed where I shared that. Let me
Okay.
just check this out and share this complete question with you.
Okay. Okay. That's it.
Share it in the chat. So first it's written game list like how it's written in your sheet. Then it's written define display underscore game. Then we are calling this function. And then yeah. This is what is in the file.
So this is already, so basically the question is like what you want to do is you want to create a small game where a user can choose a position in an existing list and replace it with a value of their choice, right? So basically what we're doing over here is, if suppose this is an input that a person is giving, right? So what should happen is he should, he can choose a position like, okay, in this, I want to change the number at position number, index number 2 with 20, right? This is what we are trying to create over here. So if you see right now, so this is just done in part. So there is a small, function is created, display game. It is going to display that list, right? So if I come over here, so this is you have created, and now what we are doing is we are creating a function over here. It is what that is going to do is that is just going to uh, display the list of numbers, that the numbers that you have given in that the list over there. Then what we're doing is now we are creating a function that we create a variable by the name of choice, which we are calling it as wrong, assigned a value. Now what happened is the same thing, right? The same part that we did above. We are just trying to do that only. And what we're doing is we are taking an input, pick a position to replace 0, 1, or 2. Now a person will pick some position 2 or 3, right? So whatever he picks that position over there, if that number is not there, it is going to clear the output and it is going to say, sorry, did not pick up the correct number. And after that, what is going to happen over here is, I think then what we are doing is we are just returning the number that he has expected. Then we have created another function over here in which what we are doing is we are replacing the value. So there are multiple functions that have been created, right? In which what we are doing is we are replacing that value which he wants to be replaced, as in at what index position he wants the value to be replaced with a new value. So these are the functions that are created for that. So this is like just multiple functions over here that we are creating. Yeah, Rama, are you getting it?
Yeah, yes, sir.
So where was the trouble? If you can let me know.
See here, there were different gaming list values for the variable. So
That is 0, 1, 2.
no,
We have.
yeah, first we have 0, 1, 2, and again when it was an output, or I'm not sure whether it's output or markdown, where the gaming list was one numeric and 2 string.
See, this is what this is. Radhika has shared this code for the same. So that you just have to copy and paste.
Okay.
So with this, shall we move ahead?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So now you know what we're going to do over here. I'm just going to do some basic functions on the. I'm going to show some arithmetic functionalities on the NumPy, right? So basically, NumPy, as you know, that as we were discussing, that we use this to create some numerical, arrays over here in the Python. That is where we will be using this NumPy library. So let's start. So if I start again, so I will have to start from import NumPy as NP. Oh, NumPy as NP, right? So now what we will do is let us create an array over here. Right? Let's create a small array. Array equal to np dot. Let's use arrange function to generate the numbers from 0 to 10. Right. So when I say, when we talk of some arithmetic operations is like, you want to add two arrays, right? So if you say array plus array, it is just going to add the number, right? 0 plus 0, 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2, index by index, it is going to add the numbers. If you want to do some multiplication on that array, division on that array, you can easily do that as well. Okay, if you say array multiplied by array, you can do that multiplication, right? You want to say array divided by array, you can do that, right? So you can just do such kind of calculations over here. If you see, I have divided array by array. Over here, I just got a small stuff over here. This is simply, I'm saying 0 divided by 0. So, I mean, when you divide something by 0, so generally what happen in other technologies is those things give you an error that, it is not possible. But what Python does is it just gives you a warning and it prints NaN, that is not available, as a null. It's like a null that you get. Let's try this out. And then you have some functions also, arithmetic functions as well, which you can use with this, right? Like one function is square root, right? If you want to find the square root of an array, so you can say numpy dot sqrt, square root of the array. So it will find the square root values. You want to find the exponential e raised to the power. So you have np dot exp function, right? So
Amit, why do we have to use np dot square root, np dot exponential?
So this is, because these are the functions of NumPy library. So because what happened is the same functions, similar functions can be available in the base package also. So if they're available in the base package, so it is going to use that function. But if you have to use explicitly any function from the NumPy library, so everywhere you have to write NP. Like if you remember, like over above also, when I was using arrange, I had to give the name of my library, the package, that is NumPy. So everywhere I'll be using any functions of this library, I'll have to write NP in that case.
When I think we had done square root normally also in Python, right? Like without numpy.
Which one?
We had found out square root normally also in Python.
So see, that is what I'm saying. So you have the same functions in the base package also, right? Like for example, if I say max of array, right? So now it gives me the number 9 is the maximum. Okay. Now this is not a part of this function is not a part of NumPy. Even if I won't have NumPy, this will work. But if I want to use the max function from the NumPy library, I will say np dot the max function. So I will say np dot max of array. The output will be same, but the only difference is this max will now be coming from NumPy library. This was coming from the base the Python that we had installed. Getting it?
Okay.
See, because as I said, the packages that are created, right? So what happens is each package will have hundreds of functions, and there will be a lot of functions that will be available in the base package also. They will be available in package 1 also, in package 2 also, package 3 also. So depending upon from which package you want to use it, you just write that the package name over there. That's it.
Okay, so NumPy would be used for some higher type of function, right? Because if these are available in normal Python base package also, then what are we using NumPy for?
So array, like creation of array, you cannot do it with the normal package. If you want to create an array or if you want to create a matrix, you will have to use NumPy library only. It is not available over there. So that is why we install NumPy library. But now if you have to find the max, minimum, sum, and all that stuff, that functionalities are available in the NumPy also, and base also. Whatever you are comfortable with, you can use that.
So array is similar to list, which we can create in Python base package also.
Sorry.
Array is similar to the list we create, which is.
But list has, see, NumPy go by the name, so numerical Python. So array will only take the numbers, but NumPy arrays are only going to take the numbers, whereas a list can take, when you get a list, right? So it can have anything. I can get a list as
String
suppose
also
1,
can.
2. So in the same thing, you can put ABC as well. So
Hmm.
this is a list, just storing number of data points. But the array
Hmm.
won't accept that. Array will give an array. But it will only take numbers over there. Right? If you try to create this into an array, so you won't be able to do it.
Okay.
So now, so this was basic stuff, right? Which where we just got introduced to how we use these numbers and all. The main now what we are going to use over here or explore is that is the pandas. So pandas is the one of the package that is used the most widely for doing all sort of data stuff. And in this we will also learn on how to load the data from CSVs and Excel and work with big chunk of data over there. So let's start on that. So first of all, what will be the first step if you have to use pandas?
Terminal install panda package.
Right, you will have to first install the pandas over there. So can you all install it? So you will say the panda install pandas. That's it, and you are ready to go with using the pandas now. So what I'll do is maybe I can use this one. So now if I talk about pandas, right now pandas is basically pandas is an open source library built on, right? It is built on top of NumPy. So NumPy that we have just explored, it is an extension of that. Okay. Why do we use pandas? So pandas is something that we will be using for quick data analysis, plus we will be using it for data cleansing and preparation. Data cleansing and data preparation. So these are the things that we will be using this panda for. And pandas has some quick advantages, right? It is super fast super fast in performance, and I will say productivity. I mean, if you're working over there, so we can say it's super fast in the performance and productivity. Pandas also has, pandas also has I will say, visualization features. Okay. And you can work with variety of data sources. With pandas, you can export the data from variety of sources. Right? Excel, CSV, similar database, so we can do that. And if you want to install this, so we know the command pip. You can write pip install pandas, or you can say panda install pandas. You can use any of the command to install pandas now.
Amit, it's showing package not found for me.
Huh?
Package not found.
Can you share your screen?
Yeah. Over here I did conda install panda. And
Pandas, S is missing. So are you all able to install it? I'll just confirm that. Okay. So now what we will do is let's start with this. Now in this, pandas, we will be storing the data mostly, basically in the form of a row and column structure format, right? That is how we start as the first step. So what we will be starting off with, we will be starting off with something that is called as series in pandas, right? So series in pandas means when you want to store the data, right? Like you have arrays. In arrays, what happens is the data gets stored in one dimension, in one line, in a one row or something like that. But series is something like arrays in NumPy, but a lot more flexibility on that. Okay, suppose what I do is let us do one thing. Let's do one thing. Let's create some variables over here, and then let's get understanding on that. So what I'll do over here is first of all we will have to say import NumPy, and NumPy is already there. I will say import pandas, right? The same stuff. I will have to say pandas as PD. So we are importing this library. Now what we will do is you can actually convert any list or NumPy array or dictionaries into series. Now series is nothing, right? It's just one dimensional way of storing your data. That's it. It's nothing very fancy stuff or something like that. Suppose what do I have? Suppose I create something like list. Let's create a list over here. Let's call it as list one. List one, and list one I'm calling it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now I would like to convert this list into the form of the series. So what I will do is I will say pd dot series pandas dot series and S is in capital. Pandas dot series and data equals to list one. See, it's just that in the arrays, the output was coming in the row wise, just one dimensional array. But if you see over it, it forms you gives you data in the columnar format. So if you see now, it is giving you the index number also 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the data that you have. You can create any numpy array, right? Suppose if you create any numpy array, you can convert that also into the form of a series. Suppose you just create an array.
In this series, S has to be capital
As is capital.
because small s is giving error.
Yeah, because this Python is case sensitive, so you have to be careful with that. If you create an array, you can convert that also into a series. PD dot series.
Why is the data type changing? Int 64, int 32.
Sorry.
Why is the data type D type int
It's
64?
because of that, the this we have used this arrays, these numpy arrays, and previously I was using a list. So because of that, the numbers are changing. Our data type is changing. So I'll tell you. So there are different type of data types that we have. So I'll give you. I'll be sharing that because now what will happen is we will be dealing with the data of multiple types. So I'll tell you what is Int64, Int32, char, float, decimal, all these are. So these are basically data types. So this is where in pandas we start talking about that. Okay. And if you create this over here, what you can do is you can also give some, the different nomenclature to these, the indexing that we are giving over here, right? So for example, if you say that you are creating a series, PD dot series, so by default, what happens is it gives the index number as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If instead of giving 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, you want to give some names. So what you can do is like this is the array. You can say that index should be equal to, suppose you want to give indexing as we have 4 numbers, you want to give that as A, comma, B, oh, A, comma, B, comma, C, comma, D. Right? So you see now indexing has been changed. I mean, idea is same, just that I've changed the indexing from 0, 1, 2, 3 to A, B, C, D just to give some names to that. That is it. Otherwise, it is the same. Okay. Now what happens is this series can have, it can like in the NumPy arrays, we had a limitation that it could only hold the numbers. But when you have this panda.series, it can actually hold character data also, right? If you say data equal to, the data is, suppose you want to give that as A, comma B, comma C, right, comma D. So you can hold any type of data. Object as in character data now. Data type has changed to object, which is character. Okay. So when you create a series, so let's create a new series over here. Suppose I'm creating a series over here. Uh, pd.series. And in this, we are going to say that data with that data that we are going to keep is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I am going to say index equal to, so I can use this only. So the thing that I will now tell you over here is oh, okay. So when it comes to indexing, right? Indexing is something that we have been discussing now for a very long. If you want to do the indexing on the series, it will happen the same way, right? If you say series 1, you want to pick the value which is at number 0, right? So that number is 1. So now when it comes to indexing, either you can use the normal numbering, or if you have given some names, right? So you can use those names also, right? If you say series 1, you want to pick that value whose index name is E. So that number is 5. So you can use both of the things in order to do that indexing. I hope you are all able to do it. So now this is something that we have seen, that was series, which is again which we are not going to use a lot. I mean, definitely we are going to use it. Now comes the main part, which we will be working the most of the time, and they are data frames. Right. So now data frame is one of the data structure in which what we can do is we can store the data in the row and column format. Right. We can store the data in the form of row and column. Right. Like we have that data in the Excel. Now this sheet, that data that we have, this is something that we actually call it as a data frame in the terminologies of Python now. Okay, in the form we call it as the data frame. So what we'll do now is let's create a data frame now. And for doing that, let's do one thing. Let's create a data frame with just what we'll do is we'll use some random numbers in order to make that data frame. So I'm creating a variable and I'll say pd dot. So we have data frame. Okay, we're going to use data frame. So once I'll make it, you all will get a idea of it, what exactly it is. Okay. Now over here we are going to use a random function. If you all remember, we used a random function in the NumPy also yesterday. Okay, so I'm saying I want to generate random numbers 5, 4. What will this mean? If you all recall it from yesterday, if I say random number,
4 numbers.
5 rows, 4 columns.
No, it should take
yes,
from
5 rows, 4 columns. This is going to generate that. So like for example, if you just want to see it out, just add a new line and I say random n and I say 5, 4. Oh, we will have to first of all import this library random n from NumPy dot random. Otherwise, we will have to write it like this probably.
It was random dot rand. This
No, actually, we'll have to write it like this: np dot then np dot this. Okay, so this is basically how I will have to write. Basically, what happened is in the NumPy library we have a module of random, which gives us all those random functions. Inside that random module, inside that random part, we have a function called rand n. See, if you remember, one was random. We discussed about random integer also. So random integer, what that does is, so that gives you the random integers, that how many numbers you want, right? So it gives a random integer between 0 to 3. But now what I've done is I am using a function that is random n. Random n is like it is a function, it gives you the normalized random numbers, right? What is a normalized? I'll tell you. There is a concept of normalization which we will cover under the part of statistics. But right now you can just assume it that you are just generating some random numbers. That's it. So I'm saying that I'm generating some random numbers, 5 rows, 4 columns. I get this output like this. What do we call this in the form of NumPy? We call it as a matrix, right? It is a matrix that I have generated. But what I will be doing is I will be converting this into the form of a data frame. So just don't do anything. I just watch for 2 minutes. So that you all get a hang of this. So what I do now is I am defining my row names and column names. So I have 5 rows. Suppose I am giving the row name as A, B, C, D, and E. Okay, then I'm giving the column names. Suppose column names I'm giving it as I have 4. Let's call it as C1, comma C2, comma C3, comma C4. Okay. Now I'll show you something. So if you see now the output that you're getting over here, if you see over here, I have proper column names and I have the row names, right? So I have 4 columns of data with me and I have 5 rows. So what I've done is I was trying to create a data frame, which is a 2-dimensional. Now, if you take a look at it, it looks exactly like a table, right? Like the table in a SQL or like the data in the Excel sheet. It looks exactly like that, not something like data being flowing over here in the rows and columns. It's a proper data structure that I have generated. So what I did was I am saying that I want to create a data frame And in that data frame, I generated some random numbers, right, with 5 rows and 4 columns. And then what I'm giving is I'm giving some row names and the column name. So first, to give the row name, whatever you want to give the row naming, and what if you will not give any row names, it will by default take it as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the column names, whatever you want to give the column names over here. So this is how you create a data frame now. And what I did was, to generate the random numbers, I was using a function that was randn, right? So randn stands for random normal numbers. Okay, it stands for random normal numbers, and it comes as a part of the complete package, the NumPy library. It has one module which is called as random, and inside that module there are different type of random functions that we use. So this is where I said that from this package I want to use this module, and this is the name of the function that I would like to use. So that is what I had written over here, the complete part. I could have also written the same thing like this. I could have said from NumPy, right? From NumPy dot random import randn. Now I'm saying from this library and this module, I want to import just this function. So what will happen is, anywhere if I have to use this function, I will not have to write the complete path. I can just simply write rand.n, that will do my job, right? So this, if I just run this, now what will happen is, if I write the same code like this now, if I write the same code like this, where I will say I don't need to write the complete path, it will now very easily work. Did I not execute that? And then this one. Okay, see, it's working now the same way. Am I clear to all of you what we have done over here?
Um, Amit, instead of alias name, we are giving import ran.
No, it's not an alias name. It is a function that I'm importing, right? Like I am saying that instead of writing the table name dot column name,
Okay,
I'm saying
you're good.
column, just imported the column name. So everywhere I have to use the column name, I'm strictly using that column name over it. So I've
Okay.
extracted that function, that from this library, I'm saying
Yeah,
let's
this
import
particular.
that function, that imported function only, so that I don't have to write
The full.
that complete path everywhere.
Okay.
Please, all of you, just make this part. Yep. Are you able to make it?
2 minutes, Amit.
Sure. See now, now from this data frame, suppose you want to call, you only want to see the data of column 1. So you can say simply C1. See, it prints only the data of column C1. And now if you will see, data type has changed to float. Float means because these are floating numbers, the numbers with decimal. Okay. And now if you will see, right, this is a data frame. If I just pick this much part, will I be right to say that this data frame is made from 4 series? Can I say that? These are 4 different series, right? Because in the series also we get a data like this. So technically data frame is nothing. Data frame is something where what we are doing is we are just combining the multiple series together. So that is how a data frame is created. And if you will run a function, right? If you will run this function over here, type, right? We have a function type. What that type does is it tells you about the type of that particular variable. So if I say type of df, it says that it's a data frame, right? If you say type of df and I pick the column I pick the column C1, it says that that is a series. If I just pick one single column, that is a series. Okay. And the good thing is, if you want to call the column, you can call it by simply writing this also. You can say simply df dot c1. That we also do, right? Like we used in the SQL.
Amit, can we get the raw data?
I will come into that. We'll just see if how we will do the rows also. So there is a part or something we will be talking about location over here. I will just come into that. And if you want to generate, suppose more than one column, right? So you have to give that input in the form of a list. Suppose if I say that you want to generate column C1 and C3. So you will say in the form of a list only, you will have to give the input that you want to have C1 and C3. So it generates the 2 columns for you.
Why do we need to put it in double brackets?
So it's because, like remember, like list, when you have to use multiple data points, so we give it in the form of a list. So that is why, since we are giving 2 inputs, so this goes in the form of a list now. That this is being one entity, that what all things that are mentioned in this list that we want to see in the output.
Okay. Can we do C1 in separate bracket and C3 in separate bracket?
Sorry.
Like you previously told, if you want to see two columns or two
Like
rows.
this way, you are saying that C1 and you say C3 over here.
Hmm.
No, so technically, if you remove this list part now, if you go this one in this, so it is taking at, it is considering as two different inputs. One input is this, one input is this. But when you are giving it together in the form of a list, so that is one input that is being considered. So it is taking that as 2 over here now. So it is not going to accept that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just give me 2 minutes. Sorry. So now if we see over here, right? So if I come over here, now suppose what you want to do is you want to, this data frame that we have created, what you want to do is you want to add a new column in this. Right? If you want to add a new column in this, you can do that very easily. Suppose you want to add a new column, suppose let's call it as DF, and the name of the column is suppose C4. I want to add a new column. So I will say DF equal to C4. Let's do one thing. Let's add it as C3 plus C4. I will say DF C4 equal to data frame C3 column that I have plus data frame C3 and C2. I'm adding that as a summation of C3 and C2. And now you will notice the data frame would have been updated, and now I have the fourth column as well. Right? You are able to try it. Same way, it can be a requirement that you might would like to drop a column. Right? So you want to drop a column, so you can do that as well.
This is adding a new column or like replacing a column?
Sorry?
No, this is adding a new column or replacing C4?
Replacing.
Yeah, because the values earlier it is like for we created the array for 5 by 4, right? 4 columns. So now we are adding again C4, which adds.
Oh, sorry. So I've actually replaced that. I thought we had 3 columns. Really sorry. So technically we should have kept it as C5 equal to C3 plus C4. I just thought that I had 3 columns. So right now it has just replaced it. So C4 has been overwritten. Yeah. So technically I should have written C5. That I want to have a new column of C5. That is this. So now if I will check it out, so I get a C5, the new column, which is coming as same. Right, C3 plus C2, that these two were added up. So C4 previously it got replaced, and now C5 is newly added.
This is similar to how we do in SQL also.
Right,
How
right.
added columns.
Yes.
So all those functions like concatenate, or we can do all this here also.
Mostly you will find those functions over here as well. I mean, a similar kind of all the group by select and all. I mean, not exactly the same, but we will be able to find. There is also a package of SQL wherein what you can do is you can simply write the SQL queries also over here in the Python and manipulate the data.
Okay.
Okay. Now what we do is like if suppose you want to drop a column. So if you want to drop a column, so what we do is whatever the data frame you have, and you know when you just write dot and just press tab over here. So you will see these are the different type of functions that you can apply on a data frame. You will get all these functions which you can apply, right? You get the column names over here. Like if you just want to see column number C5, you just have to hit enter on that. You come to this C. Come over here. So if you just select anything, you can run. So you have the complete list of functions which are available in a data frame. Just dot and press tab, and you will be able to see the complete list. First, shall we give a staff update here for today? Actually, I need to take an office call in next 15 minutes. So will it be fine if we continue from here tomorrow? Okay, thank you. So what we'll do is tomorrow, what I'll be doing over here is we will see some more functionalities on this. In the meantime, you know what I will suggest is please explore this part. Drop. How do you drop the column? Right. This is something that you should try to now explore one part. Okay. Then you should explore that how you will, fetch the rows. You have to fetch the rows, a typical rows. How will you do that? That is one thing. So for that, just a hint, we will be using a location function in this case, and just try one thing over here as just I'm trying to give you some very basics that you can explore from your side. How will you use logical operators? Logical operators on data frames. 3 things. Okay, just try these 3 things, and definitely we will be discussing these in the class also. Okay. Okay. Thank you. And I'll be uploading a NumPy exercise on the Google Classroom.